there is a game that is so discussed, so commonly used as an example for what a good game is, a game that is so revered, and that game is Sonic Adventure 2. There is also a franchise that has sunk its treacherous, vile, absolutely abhorrent fangs into internet culture ever since its first godforsaken appearance in 2009. A franchise so disgustingly misattributed as being highbrow that even just thinking about it makes me want to take a bite out of an apple to vent my rage. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
The franchise I'm speaking of is Dark Souls.
Hey man, did you call me just now?
Oh, hey. No, I was just in Yeah. Okay, so...
okay. Well, see ya.
The franchise I'm speaking of is Dark Souls. Yes, it's true. Dark Souls is actual garbage, and I'm gonna prove it to you. You can trust I am extremely qualified for this because I have 2 hours recorded on the first game, don't have the second, and only started installing Dark Souls 3 once I started writing this script. But enough chit chat. In exactly 5 seconds from now, I'm gonna cut myself off to begin this review. Now, the obvious place to start in dissecting Dark Souls is the combat. Having heard the game was praised left and right for its brilliant combat, you can imagine my surprise when I booted into the game to find this. I'm sorry. Where is the combat? Where is the action and the fighting? Instead of killing dragons and gnomes or whatever you kill in Dark Souls, I'm greeted by a minigame. The fact that this minigame exists, and that I have to beat it to actually begin playing the game, is infuriating. Why would From Software think this stupid minigame was a good idea? It's completely pointless and takes the immersion out of the game. After taking 10 minutes to figure out the trick to beating the minigame, I was sent to Dark Souls' disheveled mess of a disorganized, chaotic war zone of a sloppy trash heap of an idea of a character creation menu. And wow, it is atrocious. No Gucci, no Versace, just a stupid selection of irrelevant clothes that don't even have a brand name. I thought the point of video games was for the player to feel immersed in the game, to be one with the game. How can I do that without looking like a total hype beast? Disappointing. After spending approximately 5 hours in the character creator, I had to go to bed because I had school the next day. When I got home from school, imagine my surprise to find, again, I had to pass this stupid minigame. And this time, since I forgot how to beat it the first time, I had to get help from a friend. Hey Ed, how do I beat the minigame in Dark Souls?
Have you started the... Okay. Have you started a file?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, there should be a button that says... I'm pretty sure there's just a button that says load game.
I can't find it. Having found the first Dark Souls game literally unplayable, I decided to try Dark Souls 3, and to its credit, I found the minigame this time, surprisingly, much more maneuverable. And after passing another bullshit character creator, I finally made my way into the game. My first impressions with the graphics were that they were alright, nothing too crazy. I found the random glowing claw marks in the ground a bit distracting. After making my way through the river, I finally had my first interaction with Dark Souls combat. I thought the combat was fine, nothing to get super worked up over, but I can see why people love it so much. After all, I'm not here to nitpick. After my effortless victory over that NPC, I found a brick road, and now the reason Dark Souls 3 is actual garbage. This brick road is probably, single-handedly, the worst thing I have ever experienced in my life, and I have to experience my life every day. Oh boy, where do I begin? Where do I even begin? Let's start with the actual bricks. These bricks hardly qualify as bricks in the first place, don't they? I guess they look more like slabs or squares. Maybe plates. Yes. The bricks are so clearly and obviously not from this time period, but how do you know what time period the Souls franchise is set in? They've never given a specific date. The answer comes from analyzing the set of armor on the box art. First, I thoroughly studied the image with my eyeballs. Then I thought about what I was looking at with my eyeballs, and then added 3 teaspoons of pepper and a pinch of salt. Ha, I tricked you. It was 2 teaspoons. That didn't give me the results I wanted, so I discarded it. Thus, I can safely conclude that Dark Souls is set in the year 300 BC. If you can't follow along, just go back to elementary school. You're way out of your league here, kid. Now, The most prominent paving at the time would have been Roman paving, as they were the ones who made the roads. You've probably heard the saying before, we're Rome and we make roads. Here's a picture of a cute dog. Here's a picture of a Roman road. At first glance, you might be tempted to conclude that the roads looked the same, but if we use our character as reference, we can tell that the bricks in the Dark Souls game are at least 2 times as big. This is disgraceful. For a game that supposedly prides itself on its historical accuracy, its reference from recorded history, I cannot let this pass. These cloaked NPCs, you know what? Fine. The color of the cloaks are a little off, but fine. But these bricks, this is shameful from Software. So what's the big deal? Why do these bricks even matter? What mechanical consequence could they possibly have on the game? And to answer that question, we first have to consult a real game designer. Hi, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me.
Hello, thank you for letting me be in your video. It is the best video I have ever seen in my life.
Okay, and just to clarify, you are a real game designer.
Yes.
Okay.
I believe you reached out to me to talk about bricks.
Yes.
The bricks are bad because they are too big and not consistent with the time period.
Wow, that's fascinating. Do you think this has a bad mechanical impact on the game?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for letting me be in your video again.
So you see, even a professional game designer agrees. The bricks are just terrible and awful, negatively impact the game because they're too big and not consistent with the time period. You know, for a franchise that consistently gets 10 out of 10 scores, for a franchise that is talked about and talked about and talked about and is cited as being one of the greatest franchises of all time, you would think, at some point in time, at some point, at least one person, just one person, would have sounded the alarm. Maybe this game series isn't all it's cracked up to be. Maybe if someone had actually put in the time, if someone had put in the research and the work to actually give a care and properly analyze this game franchise, the world would be a better place. This game franchise is not good. The pointless and time-consuming minigames, the awful character creation, also I take it back, the terrible and clunky combat that doesn't even have guns, but most of all, the complete lack of respect for the historical material it draws on is honestly sickening. All of this leads me to the conclusion that Dark Souls is certified actual garbage. Okay, bye.